We have a lot of Canadian viewers, so I want to mention the King and Queen's upcoming trip. It's literally 24 hours, they're in and out. I think there's up to about 10 engagements. I had a little look at the list yesterday and we're waiting for it all. I'm flying out to Canada. We have a lot of Canadian viewers here. Are we excited? Should people be excited about the King and Queen going to Canada? Very short trip. He's going to be the first king to open Parliament since 1950, or the first monarch since 1957. But there's a bit of politics surrounding this. We had some comments yesterday, I think, from the High Commissioner saying that maybe the King should speak out against Donald Trump's plans to
they'd love that,
buy Canada. Yeah. What do you think,
I'm not
Jack?
sure what Keir Starmer would think, but the Canadians love it. Look, King Charles has been in such a difficult position because he's been walking this diplomatic tightrope where Keir Starmer has walked into the Oval Office and sat down with Trump and said, here's an invite from King Charles. It's such a privilege for you to be invited for this second historic state visit. And Canada is sitting back watching there thinking, well, hold on a minute, he is threatening to annex us at the moment. So this is probably, I think, the most complex and fraught diplomatic ball that Charles has ever had to play. A lot of what he's been doing so far is, it's Keir Starmer has asked him and some of the messaging that he's done to support Canada, which has been there, has been so much more subtle and so much more missable than Keir Starmer's letter to Trump.
I think it's been meaningful, though. He has been quite clever. There's been certain ways. I think it's a Flag Day. I'm probably going to get the day wrong, but he's had Mark Carney. Mark Carney's come to see him, the new Prime Minister. He has. But it is a diplomatic tightrope.
Very subtle.
I'm going to be fascinated by his speech because he's going to make a speech in the Parliament, which is written by the government. It's passed, the government see it and say, yes, we like this, or we don't like that. So it's going to be a really interesting 24 hours, a really short trip where so many political issues the other side of the pond are really going to have to be spoken about.
But Charles, the King, I beg his pardon, cares deeply about he won't let people put words in his mouth completely. So although obviously the speech is written by the government, he always puts a little bit of personal intonation into it, and I think he's just a brilliant speech maker, and I have no doubt that he will handle this absolutely perfectly. He's King of Canada.
Well, he has a lot of affection for Canada and Canadians as well. So.
Oh, absolutely. And he can't just pull the gloves off and start directly referencing Trump because, he would get in trouble. But there might be something sewn in there about the importance of Canada's history and its, its own identity as its own unique country. But he, actually, despite the fact that Mark Carney did say in a recent interview that Canadians were a bit upset about the invite for Trump, actually Charles remains Canada's secret weapon in this battle that it's in with Trump, because if Trump were to go completely bonkers and send the army into Canada, he would be taking a country that counts Charles as head of state.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be fascinating to say. I'm going, so I'll report back next week after a very long but short journey. Right. Well, just briefly back to the Princess of Wales. Some wonderful photographs and video of Catherine at the Buckingham Palace garden party. It was the last one at Buckingham Palace this year, and we were waiting for William and Catherine. Hopefully, would have turned up to earlier ones, but it was great to see them. Jack, are you a big fan of the Buckingham Palace garden party? You've both been.
We've been, yeah. Have you been? I've been.
I have been, but not recently.
For years.
I have to say.
No, same.
Well, I wasn't going to say not for years. I'm really old.
But she met Liz Hatton. This is someone that she's become close to, or became close to, before she died last year. She had a cancer, and they had shared this amazing hug at Windsor Castle. And I think she'd gone there for a bucket list option where she was taking photographs, and Kate surprised her and gave her a lovely hug, and she stayed close with the family. It was a really nice moment. I just want to get your thoughts on this kind of lovely soft moment where Catherine was chatting to the parents and
the child brother. Liz Hatton's brother is a young boy. He's very cute. He looked great in his suit.
I thought that was absolutely gorgeous, and that is what Catherine. Another one of the things that Catherine does so beautifully. And the hug at Windsor Castle went all over the world, that picture. It was just gorgeous. And there she is again talking to the family. But of course, she wouldn't have necessarily spotted them. Someone would have told her. They do have people helping them. And
well, they invited them, Ingrid. So they invited a whole bunch of their friends.
But when they were actually there, someone would have guided them over there, yes.
Yeah, so they invited, there was Stephen Frank, Holocaust survivor that she'd worked with in the past, and lots of other people connected with the charities. But this is what the Buckingham Palace garden party is for, right? It's to reward people that in their sphere of interests or people that they feel have done good jobs over the years that they want to bring to the palace, open up the back garden and have a little bit of a party.
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, isn't it? You can come back, you get your pictures, and you get to meet. They create these huge lines of people, and then the royals go down the line and they meet everyone.
And if you're not in the line, you might as well not be there.
Yeah, that's all right. I was 2 or 3 rows back, unfortunately.
But the food is, there's some nice like glass or something, and a nice little some canapé. You can have some
very delicate sandwiches.
Some very delicate sandwiches, exactly. So it's a lovely day when the weather's good. Obviously, it's slightly less fun when it's raining. But
just quickly, we saw the new photograph of Queen Camilla's dog, Molly. So this is just taken from Battersea Dogs Home. It was a rescue pup. It was to replace her previous dog that had died. The royal family have a long history with dogs. I don't want to go into too far back into the history, or too long, but Molly is a welcome addition to the royal family and the long history of their association with pet dogs, Ingrid.
Well, Camilla has always liked Jack Russells, always had Jack Russells. And this little Molly, who looks completely adorable, is a rescue from Battersea and a Jack Russell cross with what, I'm not sure. But she said when she got him as a pup, he looks like a mole, so she called him Molly. And of course, Charles has a much more exotic Italian truffle hunter called Snuff, who he's apparently obsessed with. But the royals and dogs do go back. Obviously, we know all about the Queen's corgis and the pack of corgis. At one time, she had 7 corgis, so they were a real pack.
Well, Ingrid, you mentioned about the corgis. Have you seen the interview or the words from Sarah Ferguson in the last couple of days?
A very Fergie comment. This is
a very Fergie comment. I'll read it out to you. So she her and Andrew got given the late Queen's corgis, and they look after them at Royal Lodge. And she was speaking at a Creative Women Platform forum, and she said, "I have her dogs, Queen Elizabeth II's. I have her corgis, so every morning they come in and go woof woof, and I'm sure it's her talking to me."
I mean, even for Fergie, that's a bit far-fetched.
Bit much.
I think that she probably likes to think that. But of course, Andrew gave these dogs, or at least one of them, to the Queen as a puppy. So the Queen couldn't possibly reincarnated it in a...
But it shows how close possibly Sarah Ferguson was with the late Queen Elizabeth II, or it shows how close she wants us all to know that she was close to.
I think probably a bit of both, but she was very close. The Queen really adored Fergie because Fergie made her laugh, and Fergie's a very, very kind person. And they love horses and the country and dogs, and they used to go walking together. So and most important of all, Fergie was looking after her favourite son. So there was no reason for her not to love Fergie, but I don't think Fergie needs to keep reminding us. But she wasn't, she was talking at a talk. And, you can't be careful of everything you say, and she probably thought it would make people laugh.
Which it did.
It was probably meant in jest, yes.
Yeah, taken with a bit of a pinch of salt. People do have ways of remembering people, isn't it? And she will, of course, she's reminded of the Queen when she sees them.
Like when people see a little robin,
yeah,
they think, oh, well, that's my dead mother come back to say good morning to me. Yeah.
And people wear clothes of people they've lost as well, don't they? They will sometimes wear, an item of clothing that reminds them of that person.